Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Healthy Empath. In this little blurb, in this little section, we are going to talk to Chris Morton. So Chris Morton he's a handyman. He lives in Mexico. He does intuitive counsel, and he's an energy healer. And I met Chris about 6 years ago. Thanks for coming on, Chris. Welcome.
My pleasure. Thanks, Tara.
Chris, I want to do this just to make people more aware of some of the people that I know and some of the gifts that they have and that they can share with the community. So when I met you about 6 years ago, I didn't know very much about the Fae. I didn't know very much about fairies. I had heard about them. I had seen pictures. I didn't know anything about them. And then when I started working with you, that world started to kind of come alive, and I started to be able to feel and even see some things. I remember that one kind of fated day that we were connecting when I saw it was the middle of winter and I saw what I thought was a bug coming from your ear, and it came all the way over and it zinged me. I heard it buzz, but I couldn't find a bug anywhere. They were nowhere to be found. So, and it was right about there that I started feeling like, oh, okay, maybe there's something to this. And I started looking into the fairy and the fae and learning a little bit more about it. So, Chris, I want to ask you what what when did you realize that you were a little bit different than everybody else?
Probably in my late 20s, early 30s, uh, when I started to get really interested in the spiritual movement in my area that I was living in, which was Calgary. Um, and my interest really dug in, and I started to follow certain people in the area, certain events, and it caught the people that I knew by surprise, and they were kind of questioning me, what are you into that corny stuff for?
Yeah,
That way out there spiritual stuff, um, or the hippie guru thing. uh,
right.
and that's probably when I noticed the difference, um, in how I saw things and how I thought through certain things.
Right. And then I know you, so I'm gonna kind of lead us in. So there was some events that happened that made you kind of change your mind, that kind of made things shut down, right? You don't have to
Life,
talk about the events, Chris.
yeah, that's okay. Life brought me some really interesting challenges, and I kind of hit a brick wall spiritually, and it just turned off.
Right.
It was a combination of frustration and fear and just everything going on in life at the time. And yeah, it just shut down. Uh,
Right.
and I just continued my life. It was, interestingly so, it didn't seem that big an event at the time because life just came in and rushed right over the whole thing.
Yeah.
And way
Yes,
we
it
go.
does. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right. And then, when did that start to come back for you?
that would have started to come back just before we met 6 years ago. So it would have been 6.5, 7 years ago. I started to feel things again. I started to hear things. I noticed the ringing in my ears was back. Um, the it's actually not a ring. It's kind of between a ring and a tone. Uh, a lot of people think ringing is tinnitus and that, and I had tests done and everything. It wasn't. But anyways, that's when my intuition started to peak up again, and I started to not question things that I was doing because I just knew what I was doing.
Right. Right.
The information just seemed to be there again. I didn't have to search as hard for answers to my questions,
Right.
and I started feeling better. a more open connection with the earth and the energies,
Right.
and my ability to ground came back.
So, did you ever feel in that time where things were shut off, did you ever miss it and like wish for it to come back, or do you feel like it was just you weren't even thinking about it back then?
There might have been a couple of times where I wondered where the connection went
Right. Okay.
during certain times where I used to be able to connect very easily. And this is Percy, by the way.
Welcome, Percy. Yeah.
Um, yeah, so probably only a couple of times did I ever wonder where it went or what was going on with that connection.
So for you, is it fair to say that as soon as you felt like you wanted it back, it pretty much reappeared for you?
With just a little bit of showing up, it was like, yes, where have you been?
Right.
And I started to dig back in to explore that part of me again.
Great. Yeah. Chris, like because you're a man, we seem to have an easier time with talking to each other about pretty much everything and especially spirituality. And some men are pretty good at it, but I'm wondering, like, do you have any advice for men that are maybe experiencing their own spiritual gifts or abilities? What would you say to them?
Keep working on it. Don't be afraid to search out like-minded people, whether it be men or women. I myself had a tough time finding like-minded men and found myself a community of like-minded women. And through this community, I've met a few other like-minded men, and also have opened up through the internet and what else, found other men that are spiritual and other places where I can actually open up and be myself without a fear of judgment
All
or of
right.
ridicule.
That's a
Yeah.
thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard for us guys. It
Yeah.
is. Being spiritual also means being in touch with your feminine side. And for a man to realize that's what he's doing goes against his programming. So it's a bit of a hard road.
Yeah.
And any man that has made it through that has had an incredible journey and should be very proud of himself for that
That's
journey.
right. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Good points.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Chris. I just have one more question for you, Chris. I know that you do intuitive counsel and you are an energy healer. I'm just wondering what types of problems, if somebody were to come to you, what types of problems do you normally have come to you or do you like to work with?
Uh, Problems usually are difficult life situations, around jobs, around relationships, um, around a lack of a self identity or the
Okay,
loss of self identity. Um, that's one part of it. Another part, I like to work with spiritual people and healers that are having a hard time um, working through their growth when
right.
they find that they go stagnant or they just hit a wall. I really enjoy working with those people as well.
Great. Great. Okay. So you help people to make some decisions in that first part. Is that what I'm hearing? You help them to kind of tune into maybe what's on path and purpose for them?
Yeah, I help them to get better in touch with their intuition and with what might be the real problem driving the situation, because
Right.
it's not always the one that's on the surface.
You're absolutely right about that. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
I help them work through that, and a lot of times it's about identifying what the real problem is, and then just giving them tools that they can work on it with,
Right.
and and then being there for them uh, for follow up.
Well, I love that your little dog Percy is doing a little dance for us, and he's 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 showing off a little bit. I think that's
Yeah.
great. And thanks, Chris. Thanks so much for agreeing to come on today and talk a little bit about your experience of how it woke up for you and what it means, what you're doing with it today. And good for you. Good for you.
Mm.
I'm happy that you are a part of this community, and we'll do some more of this if you're willing. So thank you so much, and we'll see you in the next one.
Thank you, Thyra, and I'd be more than happy to do this again on deeper subjects.
Great. Sounds great.
Okay,
Thanks, Chris.
thanks.